Diamond bracelet. She looked at the exhibition stand. That beautiful diamond bracelet seemed to scintillate in the beam from the bright overhead lights. This was the 7th time she visited the museum that week. She visited every day to admire the bracelet. However, she knew that other people were admiring the diamonds, and she found several people suspicious, especially the man who stood in a corner all the time staring at the diamond bracelet. One day she mentioned this to the museum director, who promised to double the guards. She kept on visiting the museum every day, pleased with how many guards had been dispatched to look over it all. However, she thought something was off. The bracelet didn't seem as sparkling as before. She leaned in closer and saw that the diamonds seemed strangely misty. She turned to a lady beside her and asked whether the diamonds had lost their luster. No, they were just as scintillating as before. On the other hand, it seemed as if her eyes were hazy. The lady was a nurse and saw that the lenses of her eyes were turning white. On the lady's advice, she went to an ophthalmologist who ordered a battery of different tests in order to get a diagnosis. 3 weeks later came the shocking news. She had a rare eye disease which gradually would obscure her vision until she was completely blind. She felt it as if she had been struck by something hard. Did this mean she would never be able to see that gorgeous bracelet anymore? The next few weeks seemed to have come to a standstill. She felt awful. The ophthalmologist had told her they could operate her eyes to keep the progression of the disease in check a bit longer. She didn't want to say yes straight away and asked for a few days' thinking space. She didn't want to sit at home, so she went outside for a walk. On pure reflex, she went to the museum. She bought a ticket and went straight into the hall where the display with the diamond bracelet was. The scintillating diamonds seemed to be the only things offering comfort during this time. She whispered unintelligibly to the bracelet that she was thankful for its cheering her up. She stood by the display until a security guard told her the museum was about to close. Depressed, she went home and cried herself to sleep. The next morning she awoke and felt that her sight didn't have much longer. Panic was starting to churn inside her. She had to say yes to the operation, otherwise she would go blind. She got out of bed, got dressed and ate breakfast before leaving to go to the ophthalmologist's office. However, her subconscious led her in a different direction. She went to the museum, bought herself a ticket and followed a guide. She only listened with one ear and didn't really notice where they were going until they came to the jewel hall. There was the display with the diamond bracelet. How easy wouldn't it be to break the glass and take it? She wouldn't be able to see it in some time after all. She shook her head. The bracelet was strictly guarded. She had herself suggested more guards. She just shook the thought off. Though wasn't there still a sense of it lingering? One morning came a shocking news flash. The valuable diamond bracelet was stolen. The police had no clues, and the thief was still roaming free. She read it in the newspaper with her ailing eyes and went straight to police. She told them all about the man she had often seen staring at the bracelet. The man turned out to be known by the police and was immediately taken in for questioning. He denied everything, but was still detained until they could find out whether he told the truth. Shortly after this, she was sitting on a bench in the park and opened her purse. She pulled out the diamond bracelet and smiled a satisfied smile. The end? Perhaps.